Okay, good evening, everybody. So we are starting this session now. Respiratory clinic and OPD practice in the time of COVID-19. Now the flow of talk will be first introduction will be there. Then why should we gradually start our routine work and OPD? What are the problems which can arise when we start our OPD? What we need to do to avoid or minimize the problems. We cannot totally avoid the problems. We will also see what protocol we follow at the SIMS and summary and take home message. COVID-19 is a disease caused by SARS coronavirus 2. Its epidemic started in Wuhan, China in December 2019, where many people started dying from mysterious viral illness. WHO declared it pandemic on 30th January 2020. It has now spread across 210 countries, and as on yesterday, more than 2 million cases worldwide occurred in over 210 countries with 128,000 deaths. So, more and more patients are being suffering due to this disease. Now, if we see viral characteristics in short, SARS coronavirus 2 is an RNA virus which closely resembles original SARS coronavirus. Initially, it was named as novel coronavirus. It shares 96% genetic resemblance with bat coronavirus, and it also has 92% resemblance with pangolin coronavirus. Usually in epidemiology, if it resembles around above 99%, then that is considered is the origin of the epidemic. But at present, there is still confusion. It is assumed that it started from bat coronavirus and then pangolin were intermediate host. And this virus survives for 72 hours on plastic surfaces and other inanimate surface, but it dies within 4 hours on copper surfaces. And most alcohol-based sanitizers destroy this virus. Even soap also destroys this virus effectively as it destroys its lipid covering. So there is a shortage of sanitizers at present. So if sanitizers are not there, don't worry. You wash your hand with soap and water. At least you need to wash your hand thoroughly. Whole hand should be washed and it should be washed for 20 seconds. Why it is so dangerous? Why this virus is so dangerous? Because it spreads to droplet infection while coughing and sneezing, and also there is a possibility of airborne transmission also. It also spreads by touching inanimate surfaces and then touching your face or nose. Virus survives longer on inanimate surfaces and it is highly contagious. It's RO in epidemiology. RO is that one person infect how many people. If RO is less than one, then that virus, chances of that epidemic to last longer is very less. Epidemic can be controlled very easily, but here RO is very high, 1.5 to 3.5. So one person can infect up to 3 and 3.5 people. So this is very contagious virus, and patient remains infectious for longer period, around 14 days or more. And there is no treatment or vaccine at present. Though a lot of research is going on, vaccine will definitely come. Treatment also, there are a lot of trials are going on. There is a possibility of asymptomatic carrier infecting other patients also there. So you don't know who is carrying this virus, and every patient should be a suspect patient. Rather, every person, if epidemic, the numbers are very high, then every person should be a suspect case of coronavirus. Why it is necessary to start OPD? As per epidemiologists, we should prepare for 6 to 12 months. If we go back and see the Spanish flu, it started in 1918 and it continued for 2 years. So there is a possibility that this epidemic or pandemic also lasts longer. So we should gradually start our day-to-day work, virus may become endemic with intermittent sporadic cases or intermittent exacerbation of cases like swine flu. If we stop seeing OPD, other routine patients will also suffer, and there will be a blast of patients if OPD started after a long gap, and at that time it will be very difficult to control and manage these patients. So, and economic reason also, doctors are like daily wages, sophisticated daily wages. So, if we stop working, we stop earning. So, that is also the reason gradually we should start working for our own sake, for our patient's sake, though we should always take thorough precautions. Now, symptoms of the COVID, we all know fever, sore throat, rhinorrhea, sneezing, coughing, breathlessness, loss of taste and smell, weakness, body ache, fatigue, and many times atypical symptoms like abdominal pain and diarrhea is there. Loss of taste and smell, some people tell are typical of COVID infection, but these are also non-specific symptoms. So now, consideration while you are starting respiratory clinic or any other OPD, 3 points are very important. Safety of the self, take care of yourself. You have to take care of yourself. Safety of the staff and safety of the patient. So, your patient might be exposed to accidentally to undiagnosed COVID patients who might have come in your OPD. So what are the risks while running respiratory clinic or any other OPD? You might get infected. You might get quarantined after 30-40 days. You start your OPD and you yourself get quarantined for 14 days. Your staff might get infected and staff might get quarantined. If whole staff is quarantined, you will not be able to run your OPD or other practice. Other patient might be infected from suspected and yet undiagnosed patients. So there is the risk to your patients also. So what we can do to avoid these problems? So these are the points. We will discuss in detail. Consider every patient as a suspect. Screening and triaging of the patient. Management of the waiting room. Inside the doctor room, management of OPD chamber. Provide proper PPE for staff. Wear proper PPE yourself. Use proper hand hygiene and infection control practices. Provide mask to the patient and relatives. So consider every patient is suspect. Why? Because there are asymptomatic carriers with no symptoms. Infectivity starts before symptoms are started, and patient remains infectious in recovery phase also. So screening and triaging of the patients. Screening of the patients whosoever enter in your premises is very important. Take temperature of the every patient on entry. Here infrared thermometer is very helpful. You can take a temperature from 1 meter distance and in very much less time. Develop questionnaire. Medical officer can screen the patient with temperature and history. If medical officer is not there, then your nursing staff or OPD assistant can sit just outside your premises and then ask the questions to the patients, relevant questions, and based on that, if there are respiratory symptoms or suspected case, you can isolate that patient in the different area of your premises. Any patient with respiratory symptoms should be kept in separate room, and if that is not possible, then keep the patient as far as away from other patients. So here in the SIMS, what we have done, we have designed a barcode. As soon as the patient scans the barcode, then patient enters into the SIM system, and then here again at the entry level there is a screening, and we have made the circles, rectangles shape. Here in this shape only patient has to stand, and these shapes are drawn at the distance of 1 meter. So these are the screening checklist for flu patient. Any history of recent travel in 14 days outside India or any part of the India? If yes, which place? History of contact with any person who has traveled recently and has flu-like symptoms. Any history of fever? Any history of cough, cold, shortness of breath? new or worsening of the symptoms. Have you been in contact with any COVID positive patient in past 14 days? And loss of taste, loss of smell, or abdominal pain, or diarrhea, uh, etc. So above questions are asked at the entrance to all people entering SIMS. Temperature is also recorded at entrance. If answer of any of the question is yes, or if there is fever on the thermometer, then patient is sent to flu corner OPD. Patient is examined here by medical officer. If patient is suspected case, then patient is sent to government hospital for COVID testing. If medical officer feels that patient is not suspected case, and then patient is allowed to enter SIMS for consultant examination. If medical officer is in doubt, then they will inform consultant, and consultant will go to the flu corner and decide further plan. And consultant will go to flu corner and with proper PP kit examine the patient and will decide the further plan of action. Here, this is the flu corner, which is outside the hospital building, and it is temporarily created. It was an ambulance room, which is at present converted into flu corner. So it is not connected to the hospital premises. So here, this is how the medical officer and staff with full PP sit in the flu corner. So, if you don't have medical officer, then you can assign a staff who can do the screening. Now, management of waiting room is very important. Keep strict appointment system. See limited number of patients. Most of our patient comes without appointment. So, you have to, for these times, for a few months, you have to keep strict appointment system. See limited number of the patients, or else you will have to increase the duration of consulting hours, so that there is there are less number of patients in your waiting area. Keep seating arrangements, keeping at least 1 meter distance between the patients, and frequent cleaning of frequently touched surfaces with sodium hypochlorite or alcohol and glutaraldehyde based solutions is advisable. Give mask to the patient and relative. It is very important. Every person who enters your premises should wear mask. If you are able to provide the mask, if masks are not available, then make them cover their nose and mouth with handkerchief or any cloth. Keep patient with fever and respiratory symptoms in separate room if possible, and keep educational charts explaining hand hygiene and cough etiquette. So this is very important. So you need to have less number of the patients in your OPD area. These are the few suggestions for waiting area, and you also can design your waiting area based on your area of premises. Now inside the doctor chamber, it is very important because it is a closed chamber, so you must wear proper PPE. Keep at least 1 meter distance from the patient while taking history, and physical examination and auscultation should be quick. And you go to the patient for examination, you stand up, go to the patient, and then come back to your seat, rather than patient is coming to near your chair. Keep 1 meter distance from relative also. Use gloves while examining the patient. Change gloves in between the patient. If gloves are not used and not changed, then use alcohol-based hand sanitizer before and after touching the patient. And clean frequently touched surfaces. And your physical examination should be brief and quick. Using PPE, there are guidelines who should use what level of PPE. Doctor, nursing staff, and sanitization staff or cleaner all should use PPE. What are the different PPEs? Like there are face shields and goggles. Masks are again different types: simple cloth mask, then simple surgical mask, 3-layered mask, and N95 mask. N95 mask best highest filtration capacities with N95. Then triple layer mask is also very good. At present, WHO recommends triple layer mask is also sufficient. Gloves, gown, all coveralls shoe cover, head cover, and cap. So this is what WHO recommends. Here in screening area for healthcare workers, they recommend that maintain physical distance and ideally build a glass or plastic screen to create a barrier between a healthcare worker and patient. So if there is a barrier, then no PPE is required. And for patients with symptoms suggestive of COVID-19, then maintain the distance of at least 1 meter and provide mask. Patient without symptoms suggestive of PPE, like for other complaints, if patient is there and there are no respiratory symptoms, then PPE is not required. But it is advisable to give PPE to all the to give mask to all the patients. Waiting room, patients with symptoms suggestive of COVID, provide medical mask. Here, triple layer mask is always advisable. For healthcare workers, WHO recommends medical mask, that is triple layer mask. WHO does not recommend N95 mask, but they recommend gown and gloves and eye protection, and they recommend hand hygiene performance. Now, this is that was the WHO guideline. Now, this is our Ministry of Health guidelines. They mostly recommend in every place. They recommend N95 mask and gloves. Triage area, screening area, temperature recording station, and waiting room area also they recommend N95 mask and gloves for all healthcare workers. Doctor chamber, again N95 and gloves, N95 mask and gloves is recommended for sanitary staff also. N95 mask and gloves is recommended. For visitors, relatives and patients, triple layer mask is recommended as per our Ministry of Health guidelines. Uh, though the Ministry of Health guideline recommends N95 mask and gloves, but lot of our doctor friends have been quarantined if accidentally their patient came positive and they were not using gowns and head cover. So it is advisable to use. It is advisable to overdo it rather than getting quarantine or then getting exposed to the virus. So it is better to overdo rather than doing less. So I would recommend use N95 mask, gown, head cover, that is cap. Uh, Shield is not required in OPD because you are not doing any OPD aerosol generating procedures, and gloves. This is how your OPD chamber should be there. This is the SIMS respiratory clinic, which is temporarily and specially designed for these times. So here you can see the distance between the patient chair and doctor chair is very high. Here you see. Here, this is me sitting in the chamber, and this is how we examine the patient. And with a patient, this is a patient, and this is a relative. So both at 1 meter distance. Now, how respiratory clinic is different than other OPD? In respiratory clinic, infectious patient load is very high, so requires strict hand hygiene, requires more frequent cleaning of inanimate objects, and level of PP is higher for doctor and staff. So you should all wear, like for cardiologists, if they don't wear gown and head cover, it is okay. They can use N95 mask and gloves. It is okay. For respiratory clinic, you must wear gown, N95 mask, head cover, and gloves. So, can we differentiate from other respiratory viral illnesses? No, it is very difficult to differentiate from other respiratory virus infection. But travel history and epidemiological history can be helpful. You need to identify the areas of hotspots in your area or in Gujarat or from where your patients are coming. So based on that, you can determine that patient how much is the risk of this patient carrying COVID-19. Here, these are the all red zone of Ahmedabad, like Daryapur, Jamalpur, then Danilindra. These are all hot red zone, that is hotspots. Bodakdev, Rakyal, etc. are hot. If any patient is coming to me from Daryapur or Dani Limda, then if patients are having respiratory symptoms, then there are high chances that patient might be having COVID-19. So similarly, orange zone and green zone, patient who are in the red zone has the highest chances, followed by orange zone, that is intermediate zone, and green zone has the lowest chances. So based on this zoning, we have designed a protocol yesterday only. So this slide, if we expand this slide, we have divided the patient into 4 groups: asymptomatic, for suspect, for symptoms, and patient is not coming from hotspot. So then the chances of this patient, because patient is asymptomatic and cases, number of cases are less, or there are no cases in the area, so chances are less that patient might having a COVID suspect. So this patient can be allowed to enter SIM. Patient is symptomatic but coming from non-hotspot area, then consultant will decide whether to send COVID report or whether to patient. The consultant will examine and decide if we will that patient can enter SIMS, then patient is allowed to enter. For patients coming from hotspot, whether patient is symptomatic or asymptomatic, we have decided to do COVID test to see for the asymptomatic carrier. If patient is symptomatic and coming from hotspot, then it is a strong suspect, and we will coordinate with the AMC and shift the patient to civil hospital as per the direction of medical officer, corporation medical officer. So, because at present seems or most of the hospitals are not allowed to admit COVID patients. So, if it is a strong suspect, we will send the patient. If patient is asymptomatic and coming from the hotspot, we will do COVID test and send the patient home. And if test positive, we will inform the corporation, and they will coordinate for quarantining that patient. This is again same thing. If patient is unstable, we will take the patient to our isolation ICU, and then patient will be intubated and after stabilization will be shifted to government hospital. Other very important things: nutrition and sleep. In these times, to prevent infection, nutrition and sleep is very important. I cannot overemphasize this. So take care of nutrition and take at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. So in the summary, pandemic is going to stay longer than expectations. We should gradually start seeing OPD patients. We should use proper PPE as per recommendation. It is better to overdo rather than underdo. We should use proper hand hygiene and infection control practices. And we should educate patients regarding use of mask, cough etiquettes, and hand hygiene. Social distancing principles must be followed even in OPD also, and keep good nutrition and sleep. Thank you.